From the banks of Dewey Lake, it's the Dewey Pod Monster.
Welcome back. My name is John, and this is the Dewey Pod Monster Podcast. We are a weekly podcast about consumption. We are, of course, proud members of the You Run Podcast Network. You can find all of our old episodes, all of our new episodes, and all the other great shows on the You Run Podcast Network at yourunpodcast.com. With me this week is the host of the Dewey Pod Monster Podcast. His name is Sean. And Sean, how are you doing today?
Living the dream, John. What is this anyway? Some kind of goddamn comic book? We got robots, we got cavemen, we got kung fu. That's it. All right, I quit.
I know we're jumping ahead, but I wrote down when that line came up in the movie, is like, character six is exactly what we're all thinking. So.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, John.
I already did. What have you been watching this week, Sean? I'm sure there's many a things.
Yeah, I fell down a bit of a rabbit hole on this guy named Scott Ryan. I don't know if you know who that is. I didn't know who he was. He is I guess he's a writer, actor, director kind of guy from Australia. And I saw a clip.
Just a writer, actor, director kind of guy.
Yeah, from Australia. You know, one of those guys. I saw a clip on a subreddit about something. I don't even know what it was. And it was this little, an animated GIF. And they were like, oh, I love that show. And someone was like, what show is that? And it's called Mr. In Between. I don't know if you've heard of it, Mr. In Between, but I decided to watch it. So it's a show that aired originally on FX. It started in 2018. It went to 2021. It's a 26 half-hour episodes. And basically, it's centered around this guy. He's a hitman. His name is Ryan Shoesmith. And in the show, he takes on jobs of, hits, and then he'll dispose of the bodies, or he'll have like a job where he has to drive and do something. And all in the midst of it, he has to balance that and watching his daughter, who's like, he's a single dad. Well, he's divorced from the mother, and she's 9 in the first season. And she goes up to, I think she goes up to 13 or 14 by the end of the series. And his brother he doesn't have MS, but he has a disease like MS. And he's trying to care for him too. His friend is like all of his friends are kind of underworld adjacent. They're not necessarily all hitmen, but they all have like these, they all know what each other do. And like I said, it's 26 episodes, about a half an hour each. And I was totally entranced. I just blew through the whole season, the whole show, not the whole season, but the whole show in like 2 days. So I really like it. I would highly encourage anyone that's into kind of dark comedy. It's very comedic. There's a lot of funny things that happen. Ryan, I always want to call him Ryan Scott, but Scott Ryan is like really charismatic. This is really like the only thing that he's done. And the other thing that he's done, that he's really done, was a 2005 movie that I also watched called The Magician. And it's basically like it's like a mockumentary, but not making light of. It's not like a funny mockumentary about that same Ray Shoesmith character. And it's like he's the subject of a documentary, and this documentary is following him. So it builds the whole Ryan Shoesmith character that he eventually, 13 years later made into this show. And I was reading about him, and he was up for the role that Joseph Gordon-Levitt had in the movie Hesher. He was supposed to be that character, and John C. Reilly was attached to the film at the time that Scott Ryan was attached to it, and John C. Reilly left, and they recast his role as Joseph Gordon-Levitt. It's a really, I don't understand.
Did you ever see that movie?
Hesher? I have it, but I haven't seen it.
I really wanted to like it, and I think I watched it twice because I just really wanted. I was like, I like the concept of what they were trying to do. I'm not sure I like that movie though. Like I tried. Maybe we can cover it at some point, and I can try again because
isn't it like guy squats in a house and he gives advice to the kid that lives there or something? The dad dies, but he's like
something like that. I watched it shortly after it came out, so it's been probably 10 years now. So I don't remember that much. But at the time when it came out, I kind of like JGL as an actor. He's kind of gone all kinds of weird ways now. Like, I'm not sure how I feel about him at this point, but he was at the point where I'm like, all right, this guy's interesting. I kind of like, I think he was just coming off of Inception, which I really like that movie.
Yeah.
That's a whole different conversation.
Yep.
So I was pretty much willing to give anything that he was in a try. And when this looked like something just totally off the beaten path, like, oh, you're in this huge blockbuster movie Inception, then you follow up with this weird indie Hesher flick, like, I was like on board for it, just on like, that's unconventional. I'm kind of interested.
Yeah.
It didn't, again, maybe 10 years later, it's a different conversation, but I tried and failed multiple times trying to enjoy it. Yeah.
So the last thing I watched was, we talked about Wrestler Corner. We talked about the Hulk Hogan Real American documentary series. Well, WWE Biographies Legends has restarted.
I thought I saw that was back.
Yeah. So 5th season. The first 2 episodes were The Curse of the Von Erichs. They're each an hour and a half. So you're in for a ride.
So I saw that. I was like, I'm not in the mood to be that depressed today.
Yeah. I mean, I watched it. Go back to our discussion on the Iron Claw, but basically it's essential. I mean, Iron Claw, of course, takes, based on a true story. This thing, again, is obviously a WWE production. They had interviews with Kevin Von Erich. They talked to his kids, his daughters. They talked to Kerry Von Erich, who was the Texas Tornado. They talked to his wife, and they have a short little segment with his kids. It basically goes into a lot of the same ground, but they get obviously more in depth because it's a documentary and it's 3 hours long as opposed to a 2-hour movie that's, covers like dramatic pieces of these people's lives, but they kind of get into like debunking the movie, how the movie was different.
I was going to ask that. That's actually, that almost makes it worth watching just on that.
Well, they do that thing, that a lot of things do where they tease that, like, they have a talking head of somebody saying the movie was really a lot different. And then actually in the show, it's like 10 seconds. It's literally that message. And they don't really get into it too much other than like go through really quickly the litany of things that you already know to be not falsified, but like dramatized for TV. Yeah. So this is the first 2-parter documentary that they've done on this, if I remember correctly. So it's, you're looking at about 3 hours of documentary, or 2 hours and 50 minutes. I think it's 1 hour and 26 minutes each. It was entertaining, but I feel like they get more into the business side of it and maybe kind of get you a little bit more into like talking about the sportatorium where they wrestled for their little organization and everything. It was entertaining. I mean, I always like revisiting Wrestler Corner when I can see something that I haven't seen before. So it was worth it for that. But that's what I got a chance to watch, John. What have you been watching?
I'm a little bit of all over the place this week, so I'll start with something newer. This is on the streaming site Bloodstream, which you have to sign up for, which I'm kind of annoyed with. I don't like when I have to give you contact information for a free service, but I didn't feel like going through any other hoops to get this. So I don't know why this kind of caught my interest, but it's a movie called Video Vixen, which is very indie film, very shot on video, shot on Shidio, whatever we want to call it. I don't know if shot on Shidio is appropriate in 2026 or shot on Shidio. Yeah, whatever I said. I would taking a step back. Bloodstream's worth getting because it's primarily indie filmmakers on there. Like there's some like really old like public domain stuff. Like I'm sure they have Night of the Living Dead and like shit like that. But the vast majority of it is like indie filmmakers that I don't know if they have anywhere else for their movies to be, or at least I don't see them anywhere else. So sorry, I skipped over that. But Video Vixen is basically this like shot on Shidio slasher movie. It's about this cam girl who has like a snuff fetish thing going on. And then eventually it stops being a fetish thing and just becomes a snuff thing. And obviously chaos ensues, or shenanigans, or whatever we want to call it. To be perfectly honest, it's not a very good movie. It's not very, the most interesting thing about it is the angle is that she's got all these followers and there's all these other influencers that start disappearing because she's, you can kind of guess where it goes based off that alone. But what's kind of unique about it or different about it is it's like jarringly different cameras used frequently throughout it. Like you'll go from like a full, like this looks like a it's probably not the right technical term, but like this is a full 1080p, very clear, good looking shot. And then we'll go to like a phone shot where it's like the vertical thing and you have the black bars on either side. And then it will look like shot on Shidio where it's like they do this with like Super 8 or something. Like, so it skips around like that based off what influencer they're following, which I mean, I guess there's a reason there. It's like, oh, different influencer, different camera. I kind of get that. And I wouldn't be surprised if this was shot in a way that they just found all these people that happened to be in the area and said, hey, we need this, send us this footage and we'll put it in our film or something like that. I don't really know. Like I said, unfortunately, the interesting camera use or like different cameras being used, although that's kind of cool because I if I've seen that before, like to this extent, I don't remember it. The movie itself is largely forgettable. It's not exceptionally well, like not that a movie like this needs to be exceptional at anything, but it's not very well written. The story doesn't really go anywhere, and it just kind of, you know, feels like you're watching a bunch of fucking influencers, and that kind of pisses you off, and you want them to die worse. From an indie film standpoint, supported for that reason, but I keep my expectations kind of low. A less indie film, like far less indie, I watched the 1976 version of King Kong. So I think that's the first remake they did of it. I don't know. King Kong's been remade like 4 or 5 times, I feel like, at this point. So this is the one with the dude in it. So you got Jeff Bridges and a bunch of other fuckers, whatever. And it's the same story. Like, you know, they go to the jungle, they find the gorilla, they bring the gorilla back, the gorilla gets pissed. Okay, cool. No complaints there. It's actually pretty well done, though. Like, I know I've seen this one before. Again, I don't know the last time I watched it, but it's still a lot of like, you know, big set pieces. It almost looks like stop motion at points, but not like the 1933 one did, which I'm not saying that as a negative. The 1933 one has all kinds of charm that like no other movie is going to ever replicate because it's a 1933 monkey murder movie. This one's, I mean, it's good though. Like it looks good. It feels like a worthy successor or worthy remake of it. I don't hear people talk about that one very much, so I assume it's probably not like the most popular of reboots out there, but it holds its own. And I could see a lot of people, like, if you want to be introduced to King Kong, the, you know, I guess franchise, I could see this being an easier one to introduce people to with it because, you know, the audio is just everything's done better because it's got 43 years of technology, you know, on top of it from the first one. And we're still in the age of like everything is practical. There's obviously no CG or anything in 1976. So it's got all, it looks better in that sense, but it does definitely lack the charm that 1933 had. And again, that's just irreplaceable in my opinion.
Is that with Jessica Lange?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she's the female lead
interest.
So, right. Of both Jeff Bridges and King Kong.
Right.
I don't know. I've always had a soft spot for King Kong. So I guess putting this one back on, it's not as bad as some of the sequels they got where it's like Revenge of Kong. And I don't remember which one it is. I remember there's one where he's just like sitting in a big like grain silo, like just hanging out in there for some
like
reason. I'm like, what the fuck's, for a good chunk of the movie, I'm like, what the fuck's this all about? So, is he just in there like chomping on raccoons or something and, you know, snacking on them? So
yeah, it's probably what it is.
It'd be more fun. And then we do 3 things. So the third thing that I'll bring up, I've been falling into, I don't know if I'm binging it because I kind of get worn out on it and have to do something else, but I started rewatching a bunch of old SNL episodes. Like I went all the way back to the first episode and started watching the Carlin hosted, was it 1976 or was it also 76? Right around there.
Yeah, I think so.
I started with that. And what's really cool about SNL, if you go back to the first episode, obviously it's been around for like 50 years at this point, or I think it's like 52 years. I guess if it was 76, it'd be 50 years, but it's been around forever. And obviously the show is going to change and grow and whatever with time, technology, etc. The original episode is, the first season really is so much more of a variety show. Like they cut to music acts like every other skit, basically. There's a lot like much shorter skits. And there's something weird about how Peacock has them because I can't speak to every episode, but I know SNL is at least currently and has been for some time an hour and a half time slot.
Yeah.
How I'm getting through these in like 20 minutes, I'm not sure. Well, I am sure they're just leaving shit out. A lot of I'll get to that in a second. Like the thing that's cool about the first episode it's still very recognizable as SNL. Like the show, the bones of what makes Saturday Night Live are there in the first episode and still there now. So it's kind of cool to see a show that, although it's changed, it hasn't abandoned what it started as. I think that, especially over that length of time, like I don't know if there's a show that's been on longer than that outside of like not counting news shows or what, maybe
I was going to say 60
daytime
minutes
soap opera. Yeah, maybe a daytime soap opera or something. But eventually I skipped up to the, like when I started watching it, so like the early 90s with the Dana Carvey, Mike Myers, Chris Farley, like right before Dennis Miller's still doing Weekend Update. I don't remember if it was Kevin Nealon or Norm that came next. I want to say Nealon.
It was Nealon,
then Norm
yeah.
Macdonald.
Yeah.
Nealon's just a cast member at this point, and that's where I'm like, all right, so they're taking all the music acts out, which is kind of weird. I'm assuming there's probably like copyright or rights issues or something around that, but I would think if you're on their show, like, and they can I don't know, whatever. It's just, there's a lot of stuff. Like I've noticed like the majority of the like really famous skits that you would think of from that era, they're not there, which is fucking weird.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of other ones that are still on there. You're getting roughly 40 minutes a show for every hour and a half, which I'm sure if you cut out commercials and that, you probably get closer to like an hour and 10 minutes or something. So there's definitely stuff missing in it, which I find confusing. And I would say like maybe it's like a PC and standards thing, because like they say some pretty racy shit on that show, but they leave a lot of that shit in too. So I like, there's one where they just kept making like gay jokes the entire episode. I'm like, this isn't really funny. Like I understand it's the time and that's what people did in the 90s, for better or worse, generally for worse. But yeah, it's cut weird. It's still mostly entertaining, but after like a couple episodes, I'm kind of like, I had enough of this shit for now and go do something else and come back to it.
How far back do they have them on Peacock?
All the way to episode 1.
They have every episode?
They have 50 seasons on there.
So if I want to go back and watch my favorite skit of all time, which was Danny Aiello and the High C and Turkey, all I wanted was some High C and Turkey. I can go back and I can watch that?
Maybe.
Okay.
The episode is there. I can tell you that probably for, you know what? I didn't go through every season to see if every episode is in there, but I'm assuming
we had a week.
I'm assuming every episode is in there because there is 50 seasons listed in there. But like I just said, they're cutting stuff out randomly. So if you could find that episode, it might be in there. But I don't know. It might be easier just to search it on YouTube and just pull it up right away.
I had a hell of a time finding it on YouTube. And I think I found it on pre-Peacock. Like when it was whatever Comcast streaming thing was. I think I found it then. And I've seen it like once, and I quote it all the time. And my wife's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I'm like, it's hilarious.
You have to watch your wife. You quote the same thing over and over again. Your wife, after all these years, is still like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
This again, huh? And then I showed her, and she was stone faced. She didn't even crack a smile.
Yeah, that happens a lot too.
Yeah. Yep. That's why we talk to each other, John.
You know, that's probably 70% of why this show exists.
All I wanted was some High C and Turkey.
I can't talk to my wife about Eliminators, so I'm going to go create a podcast, and 250-ish episodes in, I'm going to start talking about Eliminators.
That's right. I've waited all this time.
That's right. So if you haven't figured out yet, we're going to be talking about the movie Eliminators right after the break, so we'll be back in just a moment.
High C and Turkey.
You're a horror fan? Interesting. Welcome to the Horror Friendly Podcast, where Katie and Tel watch the scariest films ever made with a very large glass of wine. Every Monday, 1 film, 2 women, 0 chill. They'll cover the scares, the bad CGI, the questionable decisions, the characters who definitely deserved it, all through the female eye. And at the end of every episode, they ask the most important question in horror history. Would we survive? Spoiler, sometimes they wouldn't. And honestly, same. The Horror Friendly Podcast, part of the You Run Podcast Network. Find them and all the other great shows at yourunpodcast.com. bring the wine.
In a world.
Again? Are you still talking about this Patreon thing?
Of course! I'm so excited to talk about all the perks, like early access to each episode and Discord. We have Discord!
Okay, Discord. What else?
You're really going to have to check it out for yourself, because some of it is so amazing I can't even mention it here.
Okay, this Patreon thing says I can be a dirt biking dickhead? Is that supposed to be a good thing?
Of course, of course! If you want to be a dirt biking dickhead, or maybe just a hot dogger, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/DeweyPodmonster for all the details.
I'm going back to bed.
All right, so we're back. We're full of high C and turkey, and we're going to be talking about the movie Eliminators. We're going to start with a third-party review. This one is anonymous, and this person says, amazing movie, that tin can son of a bitch. 5 out of 5 stars.
Damn straight.
Sean, what is the movie Eliminators about?
Okay, so for that, we go over to the IMDb machine and we type in the word.
I'm laughing at the questions.
We type in the word Eliminators and it brings up a bunch of different movies, but we want the 1986 version. It gets a PG rating. It's an hour and 36 minutes. It gets a 4.9 out of 10 with 2.700 ratings. And we go to the storyline of the plot. We're never quite sure which is which, but Gwildor said they wouldn't put it on top. We weren't supposed to read it first. Thank you, Gwildor.
I like how
for
you've
that.
added Gwildor to this every week over the last couple weeks.
He's that old nutsack. He's just the most memorable thing. Anyways, it says, a former pilot rebels against his creator, teaming up with the scientist responsible for android technology, her pet robot Spot, a rough and tumble riverboat guide, and a martial arts warrior. If we scroll on down to the storyline, this comes care of Jean-Marc Rocher. You can speak to Jean-Marc at rocher@fiberbit.net. And Jean-Marc, thank you, he says, as part of their experiments in time travel, Doctors Reeves and Takeda construct a cyborg Mandroid with the body of a downed pilot. After the success of the initial experiments, Reeves decides to have the Mandroid scrapped. Not wishing to be taken apart, Mandroid flees with the help of Dr. Takeda, who is killed for his disobedience. Distraught by the death of his one friend, the Mandroid goes north to America in search of someone who can help him in getting revenge and stopping Dr. Reeves in whatever evil plan he intends to use his time machine for.
You want cliff notes for this one?
Yeah, please.
So Paul DeMeo and Danny Bilson went to any playground with a bunch of kids and a box of toys, threw them all in the sandbox, and just wrote down everything that the kids said and did with the toys. And that's how we got this movie.
You think so?
This movie is like a child's fever dream of ideas all kind of mashed together. And somehow, I don't mean that as a negative this time. So
Good. I have cliff notes too.
Okay.
All right. So mine say, Mandroid, I'm not calling him the Mandroid, just Mandroid is sent back in time for some reason. When he comes back, his creator, Reeves, decides he's a liability and wants him disassembled. But he escapes to meet up with Colonel Hunter to get back at Reeves. Only there's a problem. Reeves has been dead for 5 years. Hunter has to put together a crack team to go back to Mexico and finish off Reeves and figure out his plans.
You're more accurate than me, probably. So before we start getting into this one, I personally, I think I only recognize one person in this movie, really, but who's in this that we want to talk about?
Okay, so we'll start off with Andrew Prine. He plays Fontana, the riverboat captain guy. He was in The Lords of Salem. He was in the Weird Science TV show, Amityville 2, and about 180 other things. We have Denise Crosby, who plays Colonel Hunter. She is Bing Crosby's daughter. She was in Star Trek The Next Generation. She played Tasha Yar. She was in Pet Sematary, Deep Impact, and Ray Donovan. We have Patrick Reynolds, who plays the Mandroid. This movie was his biggest role. Other than this, he was mostly uncredited or a bit player in stuff. His most recent credit is the short film The Family Pickle, where he plays Grandpa Duggan. And we have Roy Dotrice, who plays the bad guy Reeves. He was in Amadeus, The Cutting Edge, Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, and Suburban Commando.
Fair enough.
Who'd you recognize?
Pete Shrum, oddly.
Oh, okay. I didn't even mention him, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's in Terminator 2, and I swear he's in like 5 other things that he's not credited for. Every time I keep looking at his IMDb, like I swear I've seen him as like a chubby vampire somewhere before, but you know,
Did he
it's
play
not
the
on
bad
his
guy
credit
in,
list.
in
So.
Slaughter or whatever that movie is? Slaughterhouse? He didn't.
No, but he could have pulled it
Could've.
off probably.
Probably.
He looks like there's a chubby vampire in From Dusk Till Dawn that he looks a lot like. Basically wearing the same thing, like plaid shirt, cut off sleeves, fat guy beard, you know.
Yeah.
It's not him though, so it doesn't
Any
matter.
one of us.
Yeah. All right. This movie is kind of all over the place, so we're going to start doing the usual thing. We're going to talk about good, bad, indifferent, whatever. I'm going to like I don't care if this is a spoiler or not. My absolute favorite thing that happens in this entire movie. So Mandroid, you know, we kind of sort of said what this movie's about. He's this android Terminator type clone thing.
Yeah. RoboCop-esque.
Yeah, except it's before RoboCop.
Yeah.
But yes, very much so.
What does that tell you?
Well, RoboCop's not original. I don't know.
How dare you?
Anyway, so Mandroid is basically like a Terminator type thing, just walking around and he can blow up whatever the fuck he wants. So that gives you an idea of what this character is. There's a point in the movie where they're going up this river and he's sitting on the back edge of the boat. I audibly laughed my ass off, stopped and rewound and watched it 2 more times when his ass falls into the water. It's just so stupid that the hero of this movie can't even sit on a fucking boat without taking this massive tumble. And then the 2 characters, the doctor and the Han Solo knockoff or whatever, they basically spent like 3 minutes like swimming around the boat looking for him. And they're like, let's get moving. And then he just walks out of the river, like somewhere up the, apparently he doesn't need oxygen.
He's an android.
He doesn't have, he's got human chest. Does he? Well, I don't know. Doesn't matter. Him falling off the boat, like I said, audibly laughed, cackled, slapped my knee, rewound it, watched it 2 more times because it was that fucking funny to me.
That's a knee slapper right
this
there.
Is right up there with Weekend at Bernie's level comedy.
I agree.
The other thing I'll say off the bat that I found really funny, there's a point before they're on the boat in Mexico, wherever the fuck they are, doesn't really matter, where the doctor, what's her face, and Mandroid are like driving around in a car for whatever reason, and they get stopped by someone who's gonna like mug them. And I like that they put the Mandroid in this stupid costume with this big hat on. I'm like, yeah, he looks really incognito with that giant red fucking flashlight glued to the side of his head. Yeah, that works. So
yeah, I love that his disguise is to be dressed like a 1920s gumshoe or something. He has like a tarp or it's they call it his cape, but it's like a tarp and this shitty fedora that he
looks
wears.
Like Darkman.
Yeah, a little bit. Just it's out of place. He looks like Humphrey Bogart in Casablanca or something.
Yeah, it's bizarre. There's probably more cognitive things that I like about this, but how about you? What are some of the things you like about this movie? You can start with, like I did, with super random scenes, or be a little more structured, whatever you want to do.
I just like the whole intro sequence, right? He goes back in time. Mandroid gets sent back in time. He has to grab some piece of some artifact or whatever to prove he was there, and he brings back this Roman shield because he shot like this centurion or something, drops his shield, and he brings it back for proof. And when he returns, Reeves immediately orders that he's dismantled. And, you know, the assistant, Dr. Takeda, helps him escape. It's like the only friend that Mandroid has ever had. You know, he doesn't remember a lot about his past life. And the resulting gunfight, the Mandroid in the tank tread, like the tank tread configuration that is
that
in
he
the
has
trailer.
to take his fucking legs off to use.
Yeah. It's in the trailer. They advertise it as being this big thing. Half the shit in the trailer is from the intro of the movie, like the first 5 minutes. And then he promptly has to abandon the tank treads and put his legs back on. And then you don't get to see it until the end. And it's all worthless. He just like falls over. It's so like low budget, hilariously shitty. And it's this is not a Full Moon production, but it's a Charles Band production. Charles Band had a hand in producing this, so I would not be surprised if all the stuff that happens, like all the gunfights and shit, are in the castle that they used for all those Full Moon things. If you've watched anything and Charles Band talks, he's like, yeah, I bought this castle and I filmed like 500 movies in it. I just figured it'd be great for movies. I would not be surprised if this was part of that. I think it's just hilariously bad. But the thing that I love about the special effects, while they are very bad, they are so cheaply and shittily done. There's something very charming about them. It's not like,
Yeah.
it
The
looks,
explosions are done well.
yeah, they try to make it look real, but
Yeah.
you can tell it's not. They just don't have the budget for it, which I think that's great. I love that about these movies.
You mentioned a couple things there. There's a time travel aspect to this movie that we didn't even bring up to this point, I don't believe. The bad guy kind of goes back and forth between trying to be something like Reanimator to Iron Man to like other crazy doctor.
He's like Mandroid 2 or something.
Yeah, like quite frankly, this story is held together with like Bubblegum and Paperclips as far as what's going on with it. And there's so much random shit that happens from start to finish in this movie that a lesser movie would piss me off about this. Like I might be upset that I'm all over the place narratively, and the only thing that seems to be holding it together is this like little R2 trash can droid that keeps showing up and zipping around the screen randomly. What's interesting about this movie, everything I just said does not make it sound like a selling point. It's so ridiculous and so nonstop with the ridiculousness that you almost don't care that the plot is like barely, it's there, but saying the plot makes sense might be a compliment. Like it does, but it's not great.
Yeah, no,
But-
it's constantly like just pushing forward. Like just forget we
Yes.
talked. Just forget that thing. On to the next
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, and that's somehow leads to a really fun movie. I think this is our third kids movie now, like in the last couple months, or third PG movie, and this one's by far the most entertaining of them.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's one of those movies that you kind of watch, you're like, this is really stupid, but I'm okay with it.
I'm so surprised. Like it took me, I don't know. I was watching this for about an hour and I looked up and saw that it was PG. I was like, how is this? Like we practice
Good side food for PG.
You get to see wet t-shirt, you get to see side boob, and I guess they don't really swear that much. Nobody really gets killed. I mean, people get shot at and they kind of like, oh, it's the laser shot, and you're not really sure if that's even lethal. But I was really just surprised that with all that it was only PG-13. Like I said, there's violence constantly. People are constantly getting shot or shot at. There's
blown up.
Things are getting blown up. I love the riverboat scene where like, what is it, Fontana and everybody is on the boat and they're just like swerving back and forth. It's like, wouldn't it make more sense just to go in a straight line?
I wrote, can you lose a guy on a boat like this?
Yeah,
that was
on
what
a
I actually
river.
heard. Like, I don't think this is gonna work. Like, what are you evading?
Yeah. And the bad guys just catch up because they have a super fast boat. Like,
Right.
it's like, how are you going to get away from that?
Right.
They didn't really think of that one.
And it feels like almost everything in this movie is almost just a little half baked.
Mm.
But it's like a half baked cookie. You're like, it's not done, but it's really good. So I'm
It's
gonna
still-
just eat it
Still
now.
pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. So
The thing,
um
my laugh out loud moment for this movie was
power
there-
feet.
when Spot, the little garbage can, the R2D2 guy, like drops on the ground and
Yeah.
blows up, and the mist rises up, and Reeves' like disembodied head he comes out of the lightning and he's like, rah, 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 rah. He's just telling whatever. I'm like, this
It's like
is
a
so
Wizard of
fucking-
Oz moment.
Yeah, it's like, this is so fucking ridiculous and stupid. I can't not laugh at this, at how bad this is.
Yeah.
Like, why would this happen? And then there's a scene where, so we get this martial arts master, Kuji, who is, spoilers, the son of Dr. Takeda, which I don't know why he's hanging
shows
out.
up like 2/3 of the way
through,
into
yeah.
the movie.
You're like, okay, cool, I guess. And there's a scene where it's like they have to infiltrate the castle, and there's like a vent, right? A ventilator shaft or whatever. And there's a fan blade spinning super fast, and he like somehow uses his agility to jump between the fan blades, and all they do is just slow it down, and a guy jumps through this thing. I was like, this is peak cinema right here. Peak.
When the ninja shows up, what's his name on Takada or
Kuji.
whatever?
Yeah,
Kuji. When he shows up, that's the main reason why I said this movie is what happens when you just throw a bunch of toys in a toy box or in a sandbox and let kids play, because you're 2/3 of the way into the movie and all of a sudden a ninja for some reason.
Yeah.
You sure about that, kid? Yeah, ninja. He can do stuff. Oh, okay. So on we go with the ninja story now. And I do think he's funny because whenever you see him, like, he can't walk. He has to ninja walk. So
Yeah.
he'll be walking, but he's like doing all this kind of bullshit with his hands or like swaying his hips like he's dodging something or whatever. The only thing that would have made his character better to me is if it had, I don't even care that he's a good guy, if it had like an Indiana Jones moment where a bad guy just shot him. Like,
yeah,
that would have been
work.
entertaining.
That would work, yeah. But nobody gets shot in this movie. I mean, they can't, like, there's a scene near the end where they get surrounded. They're literally surrounded and nobody gets shot. None of the good guys get shot. Right. They all make it out. It's like, okay, all right. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, yeah. And again, this movie's all over the place. Do you have negatives on this one? I'm sure there's plenty that we could, but
yeah. Like I mentioned it before, the Mandroid and the mobile suit, you get a taste of it. And then it's on the poster. Like you're going to this movie because you're like, this dude rolls around with tank treads for legs. Like this has to be amazing. And then he abandons it so quickly. He gets it back and he falls over and then he can't use it. It's like this. What the fuck was what was the point? How like Mandroid and Hunter. Sorry. Is that her name? Whatever. Hunter.
Yeah.
Mandroid and Hunter get across the border and how? Like they don't go through a checkpoint. There's nobody asking. They just like coyote themselves over into Mexico? They have to.
Well, they were on a boat, so it's 1986.
Yeah, but they're not in the boat until after they get into Mexico.
Well, maybe that's why, because they're going into Mexico, not into America.
Oh yeah, nobody cared. Oh yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
And then like Kuji feels, and we've already kind of mentioned, he just feels so tacked on. He just happens coincidentally to be this guy's son, and he's a ninja, and he's in the fucking Mexican jungle or whatever. Yeah. Well, it's woods. It's not even a jungle. It's like just your backyard or something. It could be Michigan for as far as we know. It just feels tacked on. And even like to that point, the whole, like, I understand to serve some of the stories telling that Reeves goes back into the future and he wants to become like an emperor of Rome, essentially is what he's doing. He's collecting all these Roman artifacts. He's bringing back these artifacts that are him, like marble busts of him from ancient Rome and all this shit. Like, why do the Neanderthals have to be in there? This like Neanderthal faction shows up and it's basically like, hey, we got an hour and 25 minutes and we need 10 extra minutes. Can we just like throw something in here? Oh yeah, cool. Neanderthals, let's do it.
Go back to the sandbox. We got cavemen. We don't say that
cavemen
word.
Toys?
Neanderthals. Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's go. Hour and 35.
Yeah. The Neanderthal scene kind of confused me too. I feel like if this was a better movie, they'd be like cannibals or something like that, just to add an extra like, or maybe just a more violent like tribe of some sort. Them being Neanderthals and calling them that a couple times, I think, in the movie, it almost makes you ask as many questions as it certainly doesn't answer any questions. It feels very much so like okay.
We need some extra time on this movie or we're not going to get the funding.
But realistically, like almost every single step of this movie, like you said, it keeps pushing on, it keeps pushing forward. That's what it does. Like there is no reflection. I don't think there's any real growth of character or anything like that in this movie. Like it's not anything along those lines. I don't know where I was going with this. I guess there's just times where it feels so disjointed that it's almost like, are we still on the same page with all this? Like what the hell's going on? Like there's at one point they have this, they're trying to get their Han Solo or Harry Fontana, whatever, they're trying to find someone to get them a boat and get them from wherever the hell they're going. Mexico, I guess.
Yeah.
And the like most stupid and ridiculous bar brawl breaks out as a result of this, led by Bayou Betty, which that is her character's name, is Bayou Betty, which I actually kind of like that about her because otherwise she might be a stereotype or something.
Because she's not in any way in the movie.
No, not at all.
Yeah, super normal.
It just feels so, like I said, if the plot is, this whole movie, not just the plot, is held together with like thumbtacks and super glue. Like that's, in a way, like most movies I would say that about, and I feel like that's a negative, and I'm putting this in as a negative, but it's also kind of why it's like, this movie almost works in spite of that because it's so over the top ridiculous that it's like, are you really taking this serious? Like it almost might as well stop and have Mandroid like climb out of the lake with R2 trash can and be like, are you really taking it this seriously? And go back to, toweling off or whatever. Yeah. It also would have been great if he came out of the river and because they're in the sun and just instantly rusted over. So,
right. stiff.
Any of that.
The other thing that makes me think that this is just like, oh shit, we're running, we went overtime, we're running out of time. The end is so abrupt.
Dumb.
It's just like, yeah, it's just we ran out of time. What are we gonna do? Then it's a freeze frame at the end, which, you know, I love a freeze frame movie. It's all set up for them where Reeves is going into the past. He's gonna do his final pass as a Roman emperor or whatever. And he's going to change ripples, you know, in time or whatnot, and change the entire present, just like we talked about in Time Cop. They need the access codes to be able to stop him. And he's about to stop at the year 0 or whatever. And they're like, fuck it. We don't know the access codes. Somebody punches the keyboard and that makes the time accelerate back. And he goes back like, 20,000 years or 100,000 years or something. And he's just like in primordial ooze. And then the whole pod just like, it just crushes down on him. He's at the, you know, and seen, God damn it, or whatever he said. Well, he couldn't. He said, "Gosh darn it,"
in his Iron Man cosplay that he's doing. So.
Yeah. That's like a plus minus for me. Like the movie does so many ridiculous things that you're like, okay, all right, sure, yep, okay, that works. Yeah, okay, yeah, whatever. Let's just, how are we going to end this thing? And then when we get to the end, it's just like freeze frame, like good old American know-how. We'll just punch the keyboard and that's going to fix it all. So.
Recess is over. What do we do?
Right. Scoop the kitty litter and those toys out of that sandbox or the cat poop. Let's get out of here, kids. Got to take you back for visitation.
I kind of wish we would have got sequels of this though. Like I had not seen this movie before this week.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this before or not. The cover alone, I can tell you, had I found this as a young adolescent John, like I would have been like, this is what we need to get. This looks fun as hell. I don't remember seeing this in the video store. Mandroid would have been a great toy. You could have a little RC Mandroid running around, like shooting stuff at the cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Little missiles or whatever.
Yeah. And I would have been fine with going, especially for a kid's movie from the 80s. Like, you compare this to, like, I don't know, Suburban Commando or something. It's probably a little later than this. Right. Like, what would you rather watch? Like this stupid, like, adventure flick that is just utterly ridiculous for an hour and a half, or Masters of the Universe? Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'd much rather watch this one on repeat.
Right. Exactly. And I mean, I guess we didn't get any other Masters of the Universe movies until, you know, a couple weeks from now. But it just seems like this movie, although I totally understand why this wasn't a hit, wasn't a big deal or anything like that. When you look at it from the scope of it being a kid's movie in 1986, I feel like they could have cranked out like 4 or 5 of these, no problem, because it's not like they're worried about like continuity.
Yeah.
And
well, John, you'll be happy to know that in 1993, Full Moon had a movie called Mandroid, and there was a sequel to that. Invisible.
Okay.
The Chronicles of Benjamin Knight. And when I heard Mandroid,
equally ridiculous.
Yeah, when I heard Mandroid in this movie, I was like, "Wait, is Mandroid a sequel to this movie? How are they?" And they're not related, but they're both, you know, Charles Band things. So that's unfortunate. They're not related in any way, but I don't know of any other Mandroids personally.
I just think this would have been fun to have more of, because I don't know, I got nothing else. I'm going to repeat myself here in a second. So unless you want to add something on, this will be a short episode, but that's fine. It's a short attention span movie. So
then you're in for a big treat, bro, because it's hot dog time.
Anyway, for me, yeah, this movie's fun. It's stupid. It's laughable. It's ridiculous in all the ways that you want something to be ridiculous. It very much so goes the direction of, this happened in the movie because we needed something to happen in the movie more often than not. And it's so over the top that it's not even worth taking the time to be mad about it. I'm only giving it a half a hot dog because it's not like life changing. It's not anything that, you know, I'm not going to be putting this on every year as like a rewatch or anything like that. But for what it is, you do a hell of a lot worse and be a hell of a lot more annoyed with this genre and this era of filmmaking. I have no real complaints.
Every June, John's going to be watching whatever this is. Eliminators. I was going to say Mandroid, but I knew that wasn't right.
Yeah. Right after the Tigers get eliminated from playoff contention.
Yeah.
Eliminators.
Speaking
of, do they ever say the word Eliminators in this movie? Is there a reason why this movie's called Eliminators?
I don't think
I'm
they
not
do.
sure. Yeah.
It's just a cool
They don't
word.
eliminate anyone.
No,
I guess.
No, they don't. No, I don't know. I don't remember them.
I guess
saying
they
it.
eliminate the bad guy.
Yeah.
At the
okay.
end.
Sure. In that case, every movie is Eliminators. Anyways, I think this movie's super campy, but it's like a lot of fun. We just talked about it for the last, 25 minutes or whatever, just kind of extolling the virtues of this. I don't see the point of the time travel part of the story other than like that MacGuffin to get Reeves into the suit. Because at the beginning of the movie, he's this old like turd, and then he becomes like a younger turd, and he's all scarred up, and he just keeps adding these pieces onto him. You know, I guess they had to add that whole Coogee and Caveman element to the movie to pad out the runtime to hit the necessary hour and 30-minute requirement that seemed to make an actual movie. But regardless of all that, I feel the movie moves along pretty well. Doesn't always make sense, but it's always moving the plot forward. And I think that adds to the overall like action / adventure feel of the movie. It's not Indiana Jones, but it's silly. It's ridiculous. You know, is it either of those things? Of course. I just said it was. Yes to both of those things. But it's a lot of fun. I give it a full hot dog. I don't think it's something like you said. I don't think it's something I'm going to go back to frequently, but I feel like this is definitely a movie that I would recommend to, like, you know, if you are looking for a movie to watch with you're watching your bratty, you know, nephew or something, and you can't get him to shut the fuck up. Maybe you put this movie on and you wouldn't hate it, you know, watching it. And I might go back to it. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll watch the whole Mandroid series, you know, of these 3 movies that are supposedly not connected.
The Mandroid saga.
Yes. Hey, kid, shut the fuck up. I'm watching Mandroid.
Should be the tagline on the poster. Hey, kid, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Charles Band approves.
Hey, who wouldn't? So, well, again, this is going to be a shorter episode, but that's okay. This short attention span, short episode, no big deal. We recommend this movie. Go check it out. You can find links to it in the description. Sean's going to talk about that more in a minute. But for all the other stuff that we do, you can find us at Dewey Pod Monster on pretty much all the social medias. The exception would be on Blue Sky, where we are at crap.town. You can also go to our site, which is coincidentally crap.town. All of our old, new, and upcoming episodes are on there. You can also send us feedback on there if you choose to. You can find all of our episodes at yourunpodcast.com as well. We are You Run Podcast Network members, so if you'd like to go there and you can listen to any of our stuff, while you're there, please do check out another show, something that you haven't heard. Try something new. It's good for you. We have a Patreon now. We're a crowd support show. Any support that we get, we greatly appreciate, and thank you to anyone who's already joined. If you're interested in helping us support the show, you can go there. We have different tiers, different options available. It's Patreon. Kind of know what to expect with it. What am I forgetting?
I don't know.
I feel like I'm forgetting something. Hopefully Sean will fill you in and catch whatever I missed. I don't know. Sean?
Well, if you want to check out that Patreon, it's at patreon.com/DeweyPodMonster. You can check that out. There's a bunch of different tiers. Yeah, a bunch of different tiers and stuff you can check out. You can be a dirt bike and dickhead. You could not. You know, it's up to you. If you're interested in any of the things that we talked about earlier in the show, mostly the stuff that we said about what you've been watching or even this movie, you can go to our show notes. If you're not sure how to get to your show notes, it's either on crap.town or it's on your podcast player. There are links in there. Most of that stuff's free. We're going to try and make it free if we can find it for free. If we can't find it for free, more than likely it's going to be on Amazon. If you click those links that are in the show notes that say Amazon after them, you go to Amazon, you buy something. You don't even have to buy the movie that we're talking about or the thing you were linked to. You can buy anything. You can buy an ashtray. You can buy a fleshlight, you know, maybe a Mandroid shaped thing. And yeah, go there, and that money helps us out. Jeff Bezos pays us out. You know, he unfurls his fat stack, and he gives us a few pennies off of that. But if you're also interested in hearing more of my musings, you can check me out on Blue Sky exclusively. I am at internalbleeding.crap.town on Blue Sky. That's the only place you'll find me. And yeah, you can find me there. Maybe you'll see me post every once in a while, but probably not. John, back to you.
If you search Mandroid on Amazon, you get the movie Mandroid, which actually looks pretty interesting. There's a Mandroid looking dude shooting lightning into like a handicapped kid. Sounds good. Get in a wheelchair.
I guess we're talking about Mandroid next week.
It's a possibility. There's a bunch of albums that do not look like the Mandroid that we've been talking about, and nothing that cool. Now I'm getting into shit for an iPhone, which that's not a Mandroid. Get the fuck out of here.
Mandroid.
Yeah. So who knew we'd be back on Terminator knockoffs only like a couple weeks after Crummy Movie March. I think that's all we got for this week, though. Sorry it's a shorter episode, but we'll keep making it fun as we can. Thanks for hanging out with us, and swell up, Butthorns. Have a good week.
Bird season's over, Butthorn.
Yeah, get through it before you pass out.
Nah, I won't pass out.
Are you not that bad?
No, I mean I'm taking the shit with speed in it. What the Mucinex,
Acetaminophen or whatever.
No, the pseudoephedrine. So it clears up my. I couldn't even breathe. I sounded like this. Like that would be good if I sounded like better, like as good as what I just did. It was horrible. And at 7:00, I was like, should I text John? Like, I'm gonna take this Mucinex D and see how it works, and I sound better at least. So
you always get the one with the D. My doctor told me the D means damn it works. I'm like, oh, is that why it's behind the glass? Yes. Right.
It's not because you're getting the dick.
Right. 3, 2, 1.
Getting that dick.
Mucinex dick. I'll take some of that Mucinex dick.
Getting that mucusy green dick.
Oh. Should just be the title of this episode. Yep. Eliminators, mucusy green dick.
You get that mucusy green dick.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.